Hey, today I'm going to talk to you about hospitality and visitor experience. Now, this is part 2 of the hospitality and visitor experience. So let's fast forward. We've already discussed and talked about, so if you want to look at that video, that's another video. We're talking about the visitor experience and we're fast forwarding. We've already talked about going in the parking lot, coming in the foyer, all of that. And let's say I'm a visitor and here I come. I'm coming to their church and I've made it past all of that other stuff. And now we're just talking about the service today. And I get to sit down. I see people talking, but I don't really know anybody. So I just kind of sit there awkwardly and wait for the church to start. Nobody really, well, somebody says, "Hey, glad you're here." Now that kind of makes me feel a little bit better. Okay, now church is ready to start, and I'm ready to listen. Okay, it's starting late, and they're late, and I'm looking. Aren't they supposed to be starting? And everybody just kind of they're on the platform, and it looks like everybody's here. Oh, wait a minute! Here comes the guitar player. He's coming in late, and everybody's laughing. That's Bob. He's always late, and you don't know who Bob is. And then they start to sing a song. They get ready. Sorry, folks, we're just kind of not real with it today. And then the guitar player that's late starts off with a different song than what the worship leader has. Sorry about that. Oh, sorry. And then they get going and they finally get going on the song. And then they start to play the second song and the slides are different than the song that's going and you're trying to follow along. So you finally get through the music, and now somebody gets up to make announcements, and they start talking, and they're talking about things that, oh, we're going to do this like we did last week, and we're going to do this like we did last year, and anybody that wants to be a part of this, see Jane, she's got all the information, and then the pastor gets up, and you're waiting, you just know that, okay, he's going to welcome me. And you're kind of nervous because you don't want to be, hey, look at the girl in the gray sweater over there. She's new. Everybody look at her. You don't want that, but you're waiting because you want to be noticed. You want him to say, and he just goes on talking. And then when he's talking in the sermon, he starts talking about Tom. And you guys remember when Tom did this and he made, this is in the scripture. And this kind of relates to what we saw with Tom last year and going on, and it's insider language. That's what we call that, is insider language. All of that talking about, what we did. And you're invited to the dinner next week. If you have anybody, if you want to bring a dish, see Jane. And you don't know who Jane is, and do you really want to come to the dinner? It's all about that insider language where everybody's laughing, but you're excluded, and you kind of know that you're not included in with everybody else. And so then you get to the end of the service and everybody gets up and they're just milling around and going, and I'm glad you could come today. And then they go on, and nobody really comes over to you and has a personal conversation. And the pastor gets bombarded by people coming and talking to him, and he's kind of busy, so you don't get the chance to meet the pastor. And you just kind of like, okay, I guess I'll just go ahead and leave now. And you just kind of walk out. And what do you think? I mean, it was so great coming in and you knew everything was worked out, but then the service, there was no flow. There was insider language. There was all these things that happened during the service. And then here's what the pastor could have done. The pastor could have said, "Hey, we'd like to welcome our visitor and say that we're glad you're here. And we would love to get to know you. We have a visitor gift for you, a welcome gift for you at the end of the service. And plan to see me after the end of the service," and then go on and not make a big deal about it, but still make that visitor feel welcome and like it made a difference. And then during the service, make sure that everything is flowing right, that everything is kind of planned out together. And that when you're using an example or you're preaching or you're talking about a dinner that's coming up, hey, we're having a dinner, it's on such and such, and this is the time. And there's more information in the foyer, or if you go to the welcome booth, or there's a little flyer out there. Suppose you have a small church and you don't have a welcome booth, you certainly could have a flyer sitting outside on the little welcome table. There's a million things you can do to include that person. That's it for this session.